All right. I'm back with Sean Gordon from Gordon Gun Dogs. I'm Randy Randall from Desert Point Kennel. The truth is, with Sean's got a lot of experience that I just don't have. A lot of experience in the various stuff that you can do with a German Shorthair. Not everything. With just dog diving now, there's rally, there's ratting, there's a lot of stuff. But what he has experience is in AKC hunt test, shoot to retrieve, and some field trial stuff. And so I'd like to cover shoot to retrieve. I'm a member of National Shoot to Retrieve Association. I've been to some of their trials. I have never entered them. I've taken pictures and watched and talked to the people that are really in the know there. And it's something I thought that we might like to do with our dogs because they're versatile hunting dogs. Our dogs do those. Okay, they point and they back, and they love the water, and they have a nice natural retrieve, and they're very loving dogs and make versatile, very good versatile hunting dogs. They're team players. They have a love for water, if I didn't say that. And so I was thinking, well, our dogs cover ground. They can find birds. How will they do in shoot to retrieve? So when I went there, I seen that the sport has progressed to two dogs being lined up and then go, and they both just shoot out of there, like they're on fire, and just cover 100 yards in like seconds. And I thought, oh man, I don't know, that doesn't look like that's going to be that much fun. Now, one of your dogs, do you raise the same type of dogs I do? Mm-hmm. Can you tell us your experience with one of your regular versatile hunting dogs, not a field trial dog, not a huge runner? How did your dog do in shoot to retrieve?
I entered my dog, Covey Buster's Diamond Strike, who was a master hunter. His typical range was about 75 to 50 yards out.
A good wild bird dog?
A great wild bird dog. And I had entered him in this master trial. He had 8 finds, 8 retrieves, and a back. And he had I believe the score was 1846 or 1848.
Wow.
I can't remember the score. The reason why I entered the trial to begin with, I was coming back the week before from a field trial and stopped to see a master trial. I got to ride with the last brace, and the judge asked me what I thought about it, and I said, my dogs would clean up at this. He thought I was being cocky, told me to put my money where my mouth was, and enter the trial that was coming up the following week. So I joined NAVDA, paid the entry fee, and then we ended up winning the trial.
Nastra.
And it turned out that they thought that because of my cockiness, they were going to teach me a lesson, and that was actually a regional trial, and ended up winning that with the supposed best dogs.
And that dog was pretty high score for the year.
Yes.
Right. Okay. He said NAV. They meant NASTRA, National Shoot to Retrieve Association. So now your dog, that dog probably hunted nothing like the shoot to retrieve dogs.
No. Those dogs. Matter of fact, we were braced with an English pointer.
Okay. And
I was kind of disappointed because Striker was always a very fast producing dog. That pointer left Striker in the dirt. He had 100 yards on Striker in a millisecond, and he found the first bird, and that's where I got my back. But after that, he kept running out of the field. He was just totally out of control. He crossed back and forth and just ran over a lot of birds.
You think a dog that moves that fast can outrun their nose? They just can't pick up the scent. They miss it.
I believe that the conditions are not in favor of that dog. Yes, it happens a lot. I see it all the time.
Would that be a fun dog? I mean, you could never hunt behind a dog like that in our area and a lot of areas because you'd probably never get to even see the dog. Covered with brush and trees, and a dog like that probably is better for wide open Nebraska or something like that.
Even then, maybe.
Yeah, even then, maybe.
My buddy and I were chucker hunting one day, and we saw a short hair on a ridge. And we watched this dog bust out 4 coveys of chucker and a covey of quail. Lucky for us, they all flew down the ridge to us. But anyways,
Right.
all of a sudden, then the dog locks on point, and it's holding, and we're watching. And then these two older gentlemen come by, and they had the old school tracking unit, you know, that you hold in your hand.
The telemetry one.
And they get over there, they bust this covey chucker up, and they shoot. And we could hear them talking about, yeah, you see old Opal, how she held, and blah. They had no idea about the other birds that this dog actually had pushed out. And that made me think right then, if I can't see my dog, what is happening? You know, these guys are happy because their dog found a covey of chucker, but if the dog would have been in closer, they'd have had 5 coveys.
Right. And if you make that your sport and a specialty, and that's what we talk about, if all you're doing is shoot to retrieve, and you're not doing any hunting of wild birds, it's pretty hard to judge your dog on how it's going to do on wild birds. And a lot of these guys are doing it. You know, we have a long season with our hunting, and we can start with dove in September, and then we can go all the way through with ducks. And we're in January. It's into January right now, and we still got 10 more days of, you know, quail hunting. And it's like, you know, it's pretty hard to give up a weekend of hunting and all of your dogs to drive 5 hours to sit around, wait for your dog's turn to hunt basically some bobwhites that have been planted. But if you like that, I mean, the guys get together, they talk, they have a good time, they're doing something with their dog, and so we don't mind that. I mean, if they want to get together and do that, that's fine. But it's not needed. It's not needed to produce a good hunting dog. And sometimes if you're going to breed a dog that's just for the go and just for the style, it's like, I mean, check me if I'm wrong here, but if you got into shoot to retrieve, or you got into big field trialing running dogs to win, especially the big running field trial dogs, you might have to change the way that you're breeding your dog, right? You're not going to care about water work. You're not going to, you know, you might want your dog to run bigger, have more style if you're going to get more points. So it's like, so we may change the way that we breed.
And I had to change the way I breed and the way that I live. I'd give up hunting, and I would just concentrate on breeding those dogs.
Yeah, and another one is the bird dog challenges are very close to that. You get so many points, you get so many rounds, and you know, that's a big circuit, and people do that, and people like it. But growing up, I knew nothing about any of that kind of stuff. I had no idea. Most of the hunting dogs that we had, and people we knew had, they weren't even registered dogs. They were just dogs that were supposed to do whatever kind of hunting that we were doing. And field trial people too tend to make up a big majority of the dogs out there for breeding, but they make up a very, very small percentage overall of the breeders. So anyway, so now that pretty much covers, we covered NAVDA, we covered show dogs, and we covered, and now we're covering this. So we're going to move on to something else. Anything you want to add while I'm flipping the camera?
Nope.